They said perfection doesn't exist. But then Toyota built something that came dangerously close. Before turbochargers became buzzwords and before computers decided how fast a car could go, there was a mechanical masterpiece born out of pure obsession. The Toyota 2JZ-GTE. An engine so strong, so over-engineered, that it didn't just power cars, it powered a culture. From the backstreets of Tokyo to the drag strips of America, the 2JZ became the sound of rebellion, the heart of JDM, and the reason Toyota earned respect from every corner of the automotive world. This is not just the story of an engine. This is the story of a movement. In the early 1990s, Japan's car scene was on fire. Every manufacturer was chasing glory. Nissan had the Skyline GTR, Mazda had the rotary-powered RX-7, and Honda was building high-revving magic in the NSX. Toyota? It wanted a throne of its own. Engineers at Aichi didn't want to just compete, they wanted to create something that could stand toe-to-toe with Italy's finest and Germany's strongest. And so, under fluorescent lights in a quiet Toyota lab, the blueprint for the 2JZ-GTE began to take shape. A 3.0-liter inline-six built not for fragility, but for forever. When it debuted in the Mark IV Supra in 1993, the world didn't just see a sports car. They saw a weapon. Twin sequential turbos, cast-iron block, forged crankshaft. Every component screamed, "Don't worry, I got this." It was an engine designed not for limits, but for potential. Let's break down why this power plant became a legend. Unlike many performance engines of its time, the 2JZ was built like an industrial machine. Its cast-iron block could handle absurd pressure. The forged internals meant it could spin hard, fast, and forever. At the factory, it produced 276 horsepower, the legal cap under Japan's gentleman's agreement. But Toyota's engineers winked at that number. They knew what they'd built. Behind closed dyno doors, the real figure was much closer to 320 horsepower. And more importantly, this engine could take punishment. The twin sequential turbos worked in harmony, one for low-end response, one for high-end surge. It made power smooth, controllable, and addictive. But the secret weapon wasn't the power, it was the headroom. The 2JZ could take boost, abuse, and mistakes, and still ask for more. In an era when other engines cried mercy past 400 horsepower, tuners discovered that the 2JZ could climb past 1,000 without breaking a sweat. Then came the street racers. When the Supra hit global markets, it wasn't just a car, it was a statement. Its long hood hid that six-cylinder monster waiting to be unleashed. In the United States, tuners like Titan Motorsports and Sound Performance began experimenting. Bigger turbos, standalone ECUs, custom fuel systems, and suddenly, dyno charts started reading numbers no one believed possible. 600, 800, 1,000, all from the same 3-liter block that rolled off a Toyota assembly line. The world took notice. In the late 90s and early 2000s, the 2JZ-powered Supra became the face of underground racing culture. Movies like The Fast and the Furious immortalized it. That orange Supra wasn't just a car, it was a symbol of what JDM could do. While competitors blew head gaskets and rods, the 2JZ simply smiled and kept pulling. It became the tuner's dream and the rival's nightmare. Every mechanic who's worked on a 2JZ will tell you it feels overbuilt, almost military grade. The main bearing caps are reinforced with 7 bolts. The crankshaft could handle torque levels meant for diesel trucks. The oil system was designed with high-G cornering in mind, years before supercars used similar tech. You could daily drive it at stock power levels, then throw in a bigger turbo and run 8-second quarter miles, all without touching the bottom end. It was that reliability, that invincibility, that separated it from the rest. It wasn't just an engine, it was a promise. A promise that if you respected it, it would reward you with power that felt limitless. Even today, decades later, the phrase "built 2JZ" carries weight. It's shorthand for bulletproof, for perfection, for the kind of engineering we may never see again. But what truly made the 2JZ special wasn't just its specs, it was what it represented. This engine became the heartbeat of a generation. In Japan, it symbolized pride, proof that domestic engineering could rival the best in the world. In America, it became the great equalizer, the underdog that could outrun exotics worth 10 times more. Forums exploded. Street meets were filled with the sound of turbo spools and blow-off valves hissing in the night. It united a community of dreamers, people who believed in building, not buying. The 2JZ didn't come from luxury. It came from passion. It taught an entire culture that greatness doesn't come from price tags. It comes from persistence, craftsmanship, and heart. By the early 2000s, emissions laws and changing trends brought the Supra's production to an end. The 2JZ faded quietly into history, but its spirit refused to die. Toyota's later engines, like the 1GZ-FE and even the modern BMW shared B58, still echo its DNA. Smooth inline balance, forced induction, and tunability. And yet, enthusiasts will tell you, nothing feels like a 2JZ. It's mechanical, analog, almost human. It breathes with you, responds to your right foot like it's part of your body. Even the reborn Supra, the A90, lives in its shadow. It's faster, smarter, and more efficient. But to purists, the legend lives only in that iron block straight six that started it all. Today, the 2JZ is not just a piece of history, it's a living relic. Tuner shops still build them. Racers still run them. From drift circuits in Japan to drag strips in Florida, that same roar continues to echo. 2JZ, 3 syllables that make every car lover's heart skip a beat. It's been 30 years, and no one's built a more loved, more trusted, or more legendary inline-six. Because the 2JZ wasn't designed for profit. It was designed for perfection. It proved that sometimes engineers, not marketers, should lead the way. It showed the world what happens when passion meets precision, and how one engine can inspire millions. So, what made the Toyota 2JZ-GTE truly great? Not just the power, not just the reliability. It was the way it made people feel. It was the sound of freedom, the smell of burnt rubber at midnight, the thrill of building something faster, stronger, better, with your own hands. The 2JZ didn't just move cars, it moved hearts. And even now, when the world is going silent with electricity, one thing remains true. You can't replace the sound of 6 cylinders singing in perfect harmony, the whistle of boost, and the thunder that follows. Because legends don't die, they idle, waiting for the next red light. So, what do you think? Is the Toyota 2JZ-GTE the greatest engine ever built? Or just the loudest reminder of how pure performance used to feel? Let me know in the comments. And if you love stories of iconic engines and automotive legends, hit that subscribe button. Because here on Past Pistons, we don't just talk about cars. We keep their legends alive, one roar at a time.